All right. What's up, guys? Marley here for Take 10. Today's intro question is a two-parter. What? All right, so the first thing I want you to do is look at your neighbor, and I want you to tell them something that you like about them. Go. I don't have any people next to me, but I have my dog, so Arlo, I like that you have a lot of energy, and that we go on walks together. Okay. Again, so for the second part, I would like you guys to say something that you like about yourself to your neighbor. Go. All right, so something that I like that I am also active, like Arlo, and I think that makes us a good pair. Okay, so thank you for doing that for me. I wish I could have heard your answers, but now we're going to move on. So today we're going to talk about perspectives. So seeing things from another person's point of view. Okay, I had to put that in there. My favorite 90s movie, Freaky Friday. Trading perspectives. Okay, so last time we talked about problem solving. So we reviewed the 4 steps to problem solving. So identify a problem, brainstorm solutions, choose a solution and act on it, and then reflect on that decision. We talked about positive self-image and growth versus fixed mindset. And I asked you to pick one of these 3 words: self-care, empathy, and diversity, and think about how it would help us understand someone else's perspective. And we're going to go over all of these today. What? So perspective, your perspective is your point of view. So because of different life experiences, personal values, everyone has a different perspective, but everyone's perspective is valid. So I like the picture at the bottom because they look like they're arguing. They say 4, no 3. So it's crazy because it depends how you look at it. Because some ways that you look at that picture, it does look like there's 3 sticks, but other ways you can totally see 4. So you can see how both people are right, but it's different. So I will say that learning about perspectives can be somewhat difficult, especially if you're really used to things being there's always a right and there's always a wrong. Because with perspectives, it's kind of, there's middle, the gray area. So have an open mind that this might be a little challenging. So to illustrate this picture, I kind of used 3 pictures from my cat. So you met my cat, his name's Ollie. So imagine that I gave these pictures to 3 different people. So they each got a different picture. And imagine I asked them to describe the picture. So someone that has the first picture might be like, okay, I see a cat. I see a cat with a notebook on a couch. I see a lamp, a mirror, a window, and then the other 2 people would be like, whoa, what are you talking about? There's no lamp, there's no window. And then the third person with a picture on the right could be like, well, yeah, I see a table leg. And the other people would be like, what? So this is the same cat. Nothing has changed about the cat. He actually even stayed in the same position, which was awesome, so that I could take these pictures. But the point of showing is that depending on the person's perspective, they have an entirely different picture. So it kind of illustrates how we can have 3 people go through the same experience or the same situation, but it's a complete different experience for each person. So now I have a question I'd like you guys to talk about. Why do you think it's important to try and see things from another person's perspective? Is it harder to do in some situations than others? So, yeah, it's important to see things from another person's perspective because it helps us understand what they're going through. And it's totally harder, especially if you are in a very close conflict with somebody and there's feelings of anger or sadness or you're upset. It can be really hard to think clearly and try to understand what they are saying. Okay, so I said we'd be talking about these. So empathy, we have mentioned before, but remember, it's understanding and sharing someone else's feelings. So like the picture on the bottom, someone that has empathy would go up to the girl and say, I noticed that you're sad. What can I do about it? So when we try to understand someone else's perspective, we're showing empathy and we're creating safe spaces because we're allowing that person to say what they need to without fear of judgment. We're putting our own personal problems aside momentarily to help someone else. Diversity. So diversity is the things that make us different. It's not only okay, it's something that we should celebrate. So sometimes we forget that other people have different thoughts, opinions, expectations than us, and all of this can lead to conflict because we're used to things being one way, but somebody else might have them completely different. And there's a lot of situations where we can just agree to disagree. So these are all situations where it makes sense to agree to disagree, right? Like say you and your best friend like different foods. That's okay. Same with in the comic world, Marvel versus DC, cats and dogs, hobbies. Picture at the bottom, some people like snow somehow more than beaches, but that's okay. As long as you and your friend can be respectful to each other, you can exist with these differences. However, there's a lot of situations where agree to disagree does not make sense. It does not apply to serious, oppressive, or hurtful behavior. So some examples could be if someone else is saying that you or someone else is less than, or that your opinion doesn't count or matter. If someone's making you feel bad about yourself, any form of bullying, verbal, physical, cyber, is a cause worth standing up for, speaking out against, and getting help from an adult. And now I have a personal example of this. So the picture on the left is me. That was taken towards the end of 5th grade. And the reason, it was during a play, so I don't usually wear those clothes. But the reason I included this picture is because I wanted you guys to see that I was slightly smaller for my age. So when I went into middle school, 6th grade, I was a little bit smaller than a lot of my other classmates, and that physical difference really made middle school a lot harder for me. So I did not have a super easy transition. And this is a story about that. So I had this favorite giraffe shirt, and it wasn't this exact one that I put up here, but it had giraffes on it and it had glitter, and I loved the shirt. I wore this shirt all the time. And one day I was wearing this shirt in 6th grade, and I was in line for food, and some girl turned around and she's like, wow, that's a baby shirt. I'm surprised you're wearing that. And then the other people with her started laughing. It wasn't like they show in movies, like, ha, it was like just a little, and then they all turned around. And for them, the situation was over, but not for me. I remember I waited in the lunch line. That was the longest wait. And then I got my food, but I didn't eat it. I just threw it away, and I went and sat in the bathroom for the whole rest of the lunch period. And that I remember that still. And for me, that was not an isolated event. That was something that kept happening. So the reason I shared that very personal story with you guys is because while we want you to be able to push your problems aside and be like, okay, this is someone else's perspective, this is what they're going through, we also want you to know that it's not like that is not an excuse for someone treating you a certain way. So other people's perspectives are not facts. So like that girl saying that my giraffe shirt was like a baby shirt and that I shouldn't be wearing it, I didn't have to listen to her, right? So it's also important to value our own opinions. So if the situation, like I was saying, the repeated bullying is happening to you or someone that you know, I want you to know that it is not about you. It is this other person is taking out their aggression on you. And so it's important for you to see that, but that still doesn't make it okay. So tell a trusted adult what is going on, so that they can help with this situation. And if you're dealing with feelings of aggression, and you want to say or do something mean to someone else, so I'd like you to consider the impact your words and actions may have on someone else. Obviously, if you're already upset, you're probably not going to be doing the first thing. So in that point, you should take a break, and you should know that nothing is wrong with you. Anger is a normal emotion, and we get to choose how we express it. You may have other people in your life that say things like, oh, you made me so angry and you made me do this. No, there is always, always, always a choice. And again, tell a trusted adult what is going on. You have a lot of people, especially your teachers and your guidance counselor, that's what they're there for, that want to know what's going on. And the only way they're going to be able to help is if you guys let them know. So that was a little intense. But so we're going to lighten things up a little bit. So the worksheet activity I have today is about self-appreciation. I am awesome. So it's important to understand other people's perspectives, but it's also equally important to value our own opinions. So this worksheet gets us to celebrate our strengths. So it's going to have you think about things you like to do, things you like about yourself. And it's a really important tool whenever you're feeling down or upset to remember you are amazing and you have a lot of people that care about you, and want you to succeed. So this activity should take 5 to 10 minutes. And if you're able to have a discussion, that would also take about 5 to 10 minutes. So craziness. Next time is our last session. So we're going to be talking about knowing when to walk away, knowing when to get help. So we ran into that a little bit today, but we're kind of going to go into that more next week. What's your biggest barrier in asking for help? All right. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I know that we talked about some serious and some heavy stuff, but that stuff is super important to talk about. So if that's going on in your life, please let somebody know. All right. See you guys next time. Peace.